Good afternoon and welcome to Getting Personal with Parkinson's, a lively conversation that I hold monthly here on Facebook. I'm Whitney Chapman, the Programming and Production Manager for the Marlene Meyerson JCC Manhattan's Edmund J. Safra Parkinson's Wellness Program, supported by New York's largest healthcare provider, Northwell Health. I'm proud to say that for over 15 years, the JCC has been hosting programs for individuals living with Parkinson's. You can find out about these programs on our website by visiting www.mmjccm.org/Parkinson's. And you can see the link below in the comments section. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome. This program is for anyone whose life has been impacted with Parkinson's, those diagnosed, as well as friends and family, or those just curious and wanting to learn more. We want these conversations to help put a face to Parkinson's and to introduce you to people who are living and thriving with PD, as well as to introduce you to experts who are working in the field. We welcome your input. So if you want to be a guest, or if you know someone we should feature or have a topic of interest that we should talk about, please let me know. All your inquiries can be sent directly to me at wchapman@mmjccm.org, and I'll put my information in the comments section below. So let's get started. Today, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, actually a husband and wife, Roberta Marongiu, and her husband, actor, athlete, and boxer Alex Montaldo. They are the co-creators of a program called stoPD. I met them when Alex came to the JCC to begin their program teaching boxing, which we offer here on Wednesdays. And then after meeting Alex, I had the pleasure of meeting Roberta. So the three of us had a conversation recently, which we recorded, and I want to play that for you now. If you have questions while you're listening or watching, please put them in the comments section. And after the recording, I'll come back and do my best to answer them for you. So let me introduce you to Roberta and Alex. Well, I am very excited today to introduce you to two amazing people, Roberta Marongiu and Alex Montaldo, and they are the creators of stoPD. And it is a program that is multidimensional, and I can't wait to let them share with you about their program. So let me just first ask you, how did you get involved in working with people with Parkinson's?
Me? Well, to start, I'm a scientist. I'm a neuroscientist. I work at Weill Cornell Medicine in New York City. And I've been performing research on Parkinson's disease ever since I was in graduate school, continue throughout my career. And now I have my own lab here at Cornell, and I still work on Parkinson's disease. Happened that I started working on it. I love trying to understand and trying to, identify possible targets to develop a cure for Parkinson's. So that is my goal. Our boxing program started as basic boxing, but over the years, Alex, who's the program's director, really evolved it, improved it, and changed it. And he keeps changing it all the time based on the feedback that we have, based on how we see that patients can improve or slow the progression of the disease.
Roberta was the one who found out about, different ways to address Parkinson's symptoms. And I think, if I may be wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of she felt like she wanted to kind of bridge the gap between what she does as a scientist, meaning like basic, quote unquote, basic research, and what really goes on in patients' life.
So what is it about boxing? When people come to the JCC and they're interested in programs, there's definitely been a buzz out in the world that boxing can help with PD. But what specifically, why boxing?
Should I take it?
Well, I'll start. You can continue because you have Alex has more experience than me on the field, let's say that way. But it was found that high intensity exercise it's more beneficial than low intensity exercise for people with Parkinson's, that repetitions and intensity are the key to really slow down the disease and to help the brain rewire those circuits that are interrupted by Parkinson's. Boxing just happens to be the quintessential high intensity type of exercise. Plus, there are multiple drills that really tackle different symptoms of Parkinson's, not only from the motor standpoint, but also non-motor symptoms. They can really help with, cognitive issues or mood issues. And maybe Alex wanna take it over here if you wanna, be more specific.
What's good about boxing is that it has all the elements that a good full body workout needs to have. So yeah, it's not about the boxing itself. It's about being able to put it all together and actually retrain your ability. You will regain your ability, or gain, if you haven't done it in your life, even before Parkinson's, your ability to control your body and your movements. It's not about the hidden per se. It's about using something that will trigger your ability to give a command to your body and see what happens in return. It's like a full body workout. And by full body, I mean using the brain and its ability to rewire itself.
I started boxing years ago before we started stoPD because of health issues. And I can say that personally, again, I experienced the benefits of a full body workout, high intensity workout, but also the punching. It can give you also some sort of relief sometimes if you're stressed, if you're nervous, and it's just the contact sometimes can do a little bit, to make you feel a little bit better.
When you had one of those days of boxing for people class is just where you need to go. One of the comments that I heard from some of the students in the class was they've had more energy, and they also have built confidence in their walking and in their gait. Can you talk for a minute about some of the drills that you do, or maybe show us? I don't know if your space will allow it, but what is a drill that would demonstrate the things that you're talking about?
So the idea is that if you just talk about punching, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. 6 punches, right? Now you can use those as something to build upon. Meaning, okay, now once you've learned how to do this, right? Then you can add a step forward, and you can do the punching and a step forward, right? So by doing that, it looks really simple, and it doesn't look like there's a lot happening, but there is. Because if you think about it, you have to hold your stance first, right? Learn it, hold it, learn how to go back to it every single time, and then you need to extend and take a step at the same time. So
remember to keep your arms up, because some people may tend to take their arms down. Yeah.
So now you're working on coordination, stamina, because you keep doing it. Ideally you keep doing the same motion over and over until it gets a little easier and more second nature, so to speak, right? So now you have that one down, and you add another one, which can be as simple as 1 and then 2 back, 1 and then 2 and back. So now what you're really doing, what I'm doing on my end, is I'm creating a pattern, right? So you're building all the physical elements on a pattern that you're recreating over and over again. And with Parkinson's, when you're learning, it's almost as if you were starting over every single time. You take one step, you took it, you did your thing, you go back. Now you have to start over. And it takes a long time to create a fluid pattern. But when that happens, it's a breakthrough. You know what I mean? And then you add another one. And it's always a very fine line between the comfort of learning a new skill and adding that bit of frustration that will take you to the next level. Yeah, it is. I think that's when the instructor comes into play. You're so happy because now you know how to do a 1-2. Well, let me show you. That's not it.
Add an extra step to it. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. But that's the balance between confusion, so to speak. So like, adding something new and repeating the same pattern over and over, right? The satisfaction you gain from doing something right, and the idea that the next thing you will have no idea how to do it, right? It's it's like you're always in motion, literally and metaphorically. Like you're on your toes, you have to think and use your body. So that's the
Well, from my research experience, I can say that one thing to keep the brain active and functional is to constantly, or to as much as possible, learn new skills. That's what's advised. So to anybody. Yeah.
I also appreciate when you just mentioned the frustration, right? And when we learn new skills as adults, we like our comfort zone. We like what we know how to do well, and we don't like to be the beginner. We don't always like to be the beginner, but that is really where growth and change happens. And that's the resiliency that I think you're both talking about. Now, I know there's another part of your program, stoPD Theater. How did that come into play?
So that one actually stemmed from observation, really. Like, again, going back to a scientific way of looking at things. A few years back in 2017, I think, but we did as a fundraiser, we did a production of Golden Boy, Clifford Odets play about the boxer who was actually a musician. The person who inspired us to do that was Aaron Latham, who recently passed, and he was a very good friend of ours. And he directed it. He had Parkinson's, so he directed the show. I was playing the character of Joe Bonaparte, the boxer, and a few of the actors, professional actors, actually had Parkinson's. So, well, the actor who played my dad actually in the play, Ron Shetler, has Parkinson's, and it's really by working so close with him, that I had a chance to observe what happened when the performing mode kicked in, and there was something about performing and being watched in a positive way, right? That triggered something. I thought about it while we were doing it, and then I figured that a lot of the skills that actors have to acquire, right, to learn in order to perform and do it seamlessly, in a way, ideally, rarely, but in an ideal situation, yeah, can be actually used to address Parkinson's symptoms and improve voice, short-term memory, and cognition, especially in the form of what we call spatial awareness. With Parkinson's, a lot of time, it happens a lot that the anxiety kicks in and you freeze and you don't even have the opportunity to think about what you're going to do in a second from now, right? But I think it's a really good skill to develop, to learn, to take a moment, take a deep breath. Breathing is a big thing for us, huge. The base, that everything is basically built upon that. You take a moment, you look around, and you look at things from an active perspective. How do I use that? How can that serve my purpose? Instead of, oh my God, that's going to get in my way, make me trip and fall on my face. What we want them to learn is to be in charge. So now I'm telling you what to do. You're going to learn how to do it. But at some point, you just get to a point where you're going to do it yourself no matter what. You know what I mean? So we did that, and then we reached out to NYU, and we started collaborating. And actually it's still going on to this day, and it developed into a creative writing program. Now our people wrote, performed, and taped an original play, which is available for streaming upon request, and we're gonna keep going.
Just to, if I can add something very quickly, just as a testament of how empowering this program is that we were still, in the beginning phases when COVID hit, and we were doing in-person meetings, and then we couldn't anymore. And then we proposed to go on on Zoom, and we're still going on also on Zoom, not only in person right now, but it came from them to not give up and not quit. We're going to do it no matter what. And they just kept meeting every week on Zoom, nonstop, no holidays, nothing. So that's how this product came out, So
that's amazing. I want to step back for one moment. I appreciated, Alex, when you mentioned about looking at the space instead of seeing it sort of as a threat or a challenge, but learning how to look at what's in the space as a tool. So, for example, and I just want to give an example. So you walk into a space that you're not familiar with, and you see that there's a chair and that there's a this and there's a that. Looking around, knowing that, let's say you're someone who has problems with gait, and you might be using a walker, you might be working independently, but knowing where that is in relationship to, oh, if I need support, this is here to support me, and could be an aid for either standing or if I need to take a break to sit. I think that's an incredible tool. I also am a trained actor, so I appreciate and understand very much that idea of when you're on as a performer. And I find it a fascinating concept that you picked up on to then use it as a tool for people to empower them to sort of act as if, because when you're an actor, there's a piece of what you do that's acting as if, if you're acting as if I'm a neuroscientist on a TV show, they give me lines and I learn how to say all the science. I don't really know what it is, right? But I act as if, and I could see where that tool, acting as if, could be very helpful when you're having trouble walking. When I learned that you had both this boxing program and this theater program, I thought, how do these two things interrelate? Like, they seem so, different fields. But as we're talking, I'm really seeing some commonalities that you're mentioning, the repetition and the practice. Both fields require repetition and practice. And through that practice, that empowerment, both physical competence, mental competence, performance, limiting that performance anxiety. I'm impressed. That's really clever, because I don't know on my own, without this conversation, if I would have made that connection between those two.
And we had other ones in mind. We just didn't get to those because,
you'll get there.
We're a small group, so we have to grow, and then we'll get there.
We will get there. Let me ask you, what have you learned from being in the Parkinson's world? What has Parkinson's taught you?
I have to say, personally and professionally. Personally, to be more resilient, to be more tough, to get less discouraged when challenges come your way. Professionally, I have to actually thank everybody that participates in our program, and I have to thank this organization Alex and I founded, because it came a time in my professional career where I want to give up, and academia, not give up in general, but like I want to leave academia because it's really hard at times, like it hits you really bad. But the contact and interaction with people with Parkinson's gave me more, confidence in what I'm doing, and hope for the future, for a cure. And also through feedback, talking with people with Parkinson, ideas. So like, what do you need? Do you need me to study this thing, or do you need me to study this other thing? And that's when I redirected my research a little bit from just understanding the motor symptoms to understanding also non-motor symptoms like voice and cognition. So I have to say that it really helped me both personally and professionally. So.
Yeah. And Alex, what about you?
Yeah. Well, for me, I learned how to kind of like set aside my way of looking at things to look at things more objectively. And if I want to help, which I do, I have to look at things in a much more, open-minded kind of manner. It opened my mind in many ways, and it made me realize even more than I knew before that one, at some point, we all need help. All of us. You may get it or not, but you're going to need it. There's no way around it. And two, no matter how bad a shape you're in, you can still help. So it's needing it and giving it. And you're always, balancing between those two. And it's a good thing because, no matter how bad you think you have it, there's going to be somebody else who has it worse, and you're able to help them. And then that goes for the next person. And if you live in society, it's better to do that. It's a better way to approach the day-to-day.
You can actually also see that in our classes, because we often asked, we want to separate the workouts by intensity, by level, by how fit every person is. When I make different levels, but we always got a no from our the people with Parkinson's that participate, because they want to be all together, they want to help each other, and the person that is more fit wants to help the person that is less fit or that has more challenges. So they really don't like this separation by how skilled or how fit I am, because they want to help each other. So
it's an amazing community to get to be a part of. I want to thank you for this time together. And before we go, is there anything else that you want to share or say about your experience, or how people can find out about you?
Well, I really wanted to tell you that I'm very happy that we're part of JCC, because it gave us an opportunity to go back to in person, which we wouldn't have had otherwise. And it does make a difference. And I think, if people want to give it a try, I think they should, because, the space is perfect. It's very welcoming and all that. And I'm impressed with that very, very much. And, our website, www.stop-pd.org, if you need more information, or reach out to Whitney about the JCC program.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Aren't they lovely? I just enjoyed chatting with them. And as Alex mentioned, he does teach a class for us on Wednesdays at the JCC Wednesday afternoons. And if you're interested in finding out more, you can go to our website at www.mmjccm.org/Parkinson's. I have a small favor to ask of you before we go. Would you do me the favor, if you enjoyed today's conversation, to hit the share button that is just below this video screen, so that you can share this conversation with others and help us not only spread the word about stoPD, but also the other Parkinson's wellness programs that we offer here at the Marlene Meyerson JCC. If you or someone you know would be interested in learning more, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. On our website, you'll find an intake form. You can find out about all of our classes and other programming that we make available, and you can also reach out to me directly. We want you to know that you are not alone. PD can be a very isolating disease, but we want you to know that we're with you. So check us out. We have classes, programs, and resources. We want you to thrive and continue to live your best life. I want to let you know that in January, I will be talking with Dan Dumshaw and Rosemary Morrison of Tightrope Improv Theater and their Improv for Parkinson's program. So I hope you will look forward to seeing us then. In the meantime, I want to wish you a joyous holiday season and a new year filled with health and happiness. Have a great day, everybody.